Hi everybody, welcome back to my very last budgeting video for 2023. This is for my paycheck from December 29th, which was on Friday. It's currently January 1st, which is Monday. So, wrong month, wrong year, couple days late, but we're done. So I think that should count for something. So my paycheck was $1,675.11. They were all that amount because I had the same amount of missed work days per pay period for this entire month because of my concussion, which I know I keep bringing up, but it is what it is. It's sort of my life right now, is this concussion. So that's the calendar spread for the year, the month, sorry. So these were the first two paychecks, and this is what I have done with the third. I was only able to actually do my budget and pay my bills and fund my sinking funds and whatnot because my mother very kindly, without me asking, just randomly sent me $1,000. And I'm incredibly grateful, and I have no idea how I'm ever going to pay her back. She won't let me pay her back in money, but even just in like action. Do you know what I mean? Because you'll see, I wouldn't have been able to do this without her help. So let me show you. I had to figure it all out in advance, and then I'm just going to walk you through what I did because it took a lot of brain power, and without actually exaggerating, my head really hurts now because thinking actually makes the concussion headache worse, which is like not ideal. So I have 2 pages of stuff happening over here. So let's start with kind of the basic normal budget that you're used to from me. So I started off with a balance of $1,031.85. That's minus the $1,000 that my mom sent me because I have a very specific plan for it. So my SUV payment, which will automatically go out, is $266.72. I put cell phone bill payment, that's a really bad sentence. I put $60 towards my cell phone every paycheck so that I never have like one big payment to make on it. I must be confusing poor Virgin so badly. Then my minimum payment for my line of credit right now is $314.57. I put $90 onto the Visa. The minimum payment right now is $10. So I know 90 doesn't seem like a lot, but compared to 10, it's pretty good. And then my Neo credit card had a balance of $12.82, leaving me with $287.18. So you can see how if my mom hadn't sent me money, that's just like the basic bills. That isn't money for groceries or sinking funds or savings or anything. Like, not, like what I wouldn't have been able to do. I don't know. So then the $1,000 from my mom, I created separate math section for it. And I decided to use $1,000 to fund my sinking funds for this paycheck and then see what was left over and then make a plan for that. So from the $1,000, I put $67 into my SUV insurance sinking fund, $14 into my tenant insurance, $15 into tech. So that goes towards paying for my Norton antivirus and my Microsoft 365 and my blog domain. $40 into the travel sinking fund, $40 into the Dragon Boat and Present sinking fund, $40 into the emergency fund, leaving me with $784 from mom's money. So, sorry, I'm trying to use like the remnants of a couple different pieces of washi to hold these down so I can throw out the page they were all sitting on, and they're not super stuck on, I don't think. So from the remaining money, the $784, I filled in my sinking funds. So my sinking funds, sorry, not my sinking funds, my digital cash envelopes. I swear I'm better with words. It's just when the headache gets bad, everything goes downhill. So this is what I normally put in bi-weekly. I've added a category called personal because I realized like somewhere along the way, I used to have a category for things like clothes or shoes or makeup or like things that are personal and things that like you don't buy all the time necessarily, but eventually at some point you need to buy clothes, right? I don't have a clothes category. So when I was like in desperate need of buying jeans, I just had to put them on the credit card because I didn't have money saved up anywhere to go towards a clothes purchase. And that's not really working for me because you need to buy certain things, not just clothes, but just like personal type items. So I've decided to start putting $25 bi-weekly into a personal fund so that the next time I need to buy like clothes or makeup or I need a new water bottle because I left mine on the plane coming home from Christmas. So something like that could go into the personal category. So bi-weekly, I should be putting $402.50 into my digital cash envelopes, which is a lot of money. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to rework them again, but that's where we're at for now. So then from the 784, taking out the $402.50 for the cash envelopes leaves me $381.50. Now my cash envelope usage has been all over the place because of using Uber unexpectedly and things like that. So it just sort of draws from the same account. And then all of a sudden I find that like I'm depleted in the overall total. So obviously money from say Striker's category has been used for something not cat related. And I'm not okay with that, but I'm still trying to figure out a way to fix it. So I decided to top up Striker to get him to $100 total sitting in his category. So now that leaves me with $319. And then I decided to use the remaining money to prepay one of my sinking funds. So my car insurance sinking fund is $67 bi-weekly. So 4 of those would get me to $268. So I'm moving $268 of this money into my SUV sinking fund for the insurance so that my next 4 paychecks, I don't need to worry about making it. So that way I have a little bit more money loosened up from those pay periods to go towards like bills and whatnot. And then that's leaving me with $51. And I decided for the $51 to put it towards a payment on my line of credit, because I did ultimately decide to take the balance on my BMO credit card and move it over to the line of credit, because my BMO credit card has a 22.99% interest rate. And even though I never use it, like quite literally never use it, I only got it because they offered me a good deal to do a balance transfer. It's still a really high interest rate. And I decided that I have the space available on my line of credit, and my line of credit interest rate, is 11%. So just move it over. So I've moved it over. It'll take a day or two to process, but it's going to be on the line of credit, which is going to bump up the monthly payment for that one. But I usually put $200 onto the BMO card every paycheck. So now that money will be able to go towards the line of credit payment, and hopefully even when it bumps up with the new balance, it won't be bumping up by $200. So overall, bi-weekly, the bill payment should be lower. I hope my math is correct with that. I guess we'll find out. So that is what I've done with the money from mom. So I do have remaining in my bank account $287.18 as my like rollover for next pay period. And then I did leave myself some notes here about moved the BMO balance of $2,698.23 to my Scotia line of credit, and that mom gifted me $1,000 and I used it to pay sinking funds and cash envelopes so that I remember where this money came from. So that is what I have done with my last budget of the year. It's a little bit like sucky that I only was able to do the budget because I got gifted the money, because you know, theoretically I'm a grown-up and I should be able to do these things on my own, but I'm just missing so many days of work, and I don't get paid sick leave because of my concussion symptoms, and I don't know, like I just have to try to find a way to be like gracious about it, and I am so incredibly thankful to her, but I get really awkward when I try to express that. We're not a very like expressive family, you know? So this is it. This is my wrap up for the year. I don't do any kind of like overall calculations of money stuff that happened during the year. There is a space for it in this book, but that's not my deal. I bought the exact same budgeting book to use for next year, so I'm gonna work this week on setting it up, and I will do a little video, I guess, showing how I set it up for you and sort of what some of my financial goals for this coming year are. And then next paycheck, we will be using that one and starting back at the beginning. Something I love about budgeting in a book is you start off the year. Let me get my new one. You start off the year with this nice clean book. See how thin and tidy the pages are, and it's just so great. And then by the end of the year, it's fat. It's not as fat as it could be, but you know, it's fat. It's got papers in there. The tabs are all wonky because it gets like knocked around and everything. Like it just sort of, I like seeing the change from the brand new pristine, has barely even been opened, to like this one. This is a full year's worth of what I did with my money and things that I did. And when I go through pages, if I really wanted to, I could see, you know, months that were easier money-wise, months that were harder, months I had OT, months I had a lot of sick days, you know, months where I had a lot of expenses because of maybe something fun with dragon boating, or, you know, just whatever. I mean, the tail end of this thing is filled with lower paychecks and problems because of the concussion and missed days and just things like that. But that's part of life, right? It's part of my history. It's part of my financial history, as well as just like living life history. And I like having it documented. So in a couple years' time, if I decide to come back and look at this book for something, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was when I was dealing with that. And it just helps spark my memories. Now, because I did buy the exact same book for this year as I had last year, I am going to put like somewhere on here with some stickers 2023, and then on the new one I'll put 2024, because I do keep my budgeting books, and so I need to be able to sort of at a glance see which one is from which year, I suppose, especially for when I file them away. But yeah, this is my very last budgeting video for this year. We made it through, which I think is really great of all of us. I hope for all of you, whatever financial goals you had for 2023, you were able to make great strides towards them. I don't think it's an indicator of how good you did if you made the goal or not. I think just creating the goal and working towards it, and then having to deal with all the things that kind of trip you up during the year that you could not have possibly anticipated, is worthy of celebrating, because you don't know what's going to happen. I know I have ideas for what I want to happen finance-wise in 2024. I have no idea if I'll actually be able to make them happen. It's all going to be dependent on a lot of things that are completely out of my control, and that I'll have to handle and deal with when they pop up. So that's all we can do, is we have the year that we have. We do the best that we can with whatever situations that we couldn't have anticipated appearing in our lives. And then at the end of the year, we just kind of look back and say, you know what? We survived another year. At least that's how I look at it. So yeah, there we go. Final budget of 2023. I think we all did great. Stay safe out there, and I will talk to you next year. Bye.